if you have any questions, there are other colleagues in the chat who is going to, you can also put your questions in the chat, any technical support that you might need in the chat, and then um, there are colleagues that will be able to help you out with that. Yeah. Let's know if you're able to get to your language of preference. And then talking about the house rules, I already mentioned that you should use the format of name, pronouns, organization in your display name on Zoom. And then you can also introduce yourself, telling us the country you're from. I can see a lot of introductions already happening in the chat. And yes, welcome everyone welcome from any part, every part of the world you're from. And today, this is the agenda. We will shortly have welcome words, which is what we're already doing. And then we are going to get the keynote speech from Dr. Gertrude Odezugo from USAID Nigeria. And then we are going to have quiz. We are going to hear from all the members what has kept them engaged within ShareNet and how their journey in ShareNet have been for the past 10 years. We are here to celebrate our members, celebrate the amazing work that you all do and the impact that ShareNet has made since 10 years, ShareNet International since 10 years. And then we are going to see what the Secretariat has been up to in year 2023 from Maria Codina. And then we are going to have a very interesting panel discussion featuring members from ShareNet Netherlands, members from ShareNet Colombia, former member from ShareNet Burundi, and then a member from the ShareNet International Advisory Board. And then we are going to have a virtual networking session, which is more like an informal networking session at the end of the session. So if you're interested in meeting other members, getting to know what other members do, you can feel free to wait behind. And yeah, a moment of interactions with other members, exchange, share your work, and see maybe opportunities for collaboration or working together or knowledge exchange can come out of it. I would encourage everyone to wait till then. Cool. Again, welcome. And we are in for an exciting moment, an interesting moment to see and see how we are all contributing to the global SRHR goals. So moving on, I would like to invite well, before I invite our keynote speaker, I just want to take a look at the chart and see where people are joining us from. Yes, I see that people are joining from Bangladesh, Jordan, Malawi. Oh, I can see colleagues from Burundi. I can see colleagues from Burundi, Argentina. Oh, another person from Burundi, from Bangladesh. Oh, this is amazing. Uh, okay, so one of the house rules is please mute your mic if you're not speaking. So that would be very helpful. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So it would be nice if you can mute your mic. And lastly, good to say that this meeting will be recorded because of our colleagues that are currently still on holiday, and then they can always listen to the meeting afterwards and see what we discussed in the meeting. And the recording will be shared with everyone who is participating in the meeting today. Super, great. So I would like to invite our keynote speaker to inspire us. Dr. Gertrude is the Program Development Specialist and Senior Reproductive Health Manager at USAID Nigerian office. She has since 2013 led many USAID's technical assistance initiative for health in Nigeria, managing a wide array of USAID funded reproductive, maternal, newborn, child, and adolescent health programs. Gertrude focuses on equitable access to quality health services, especially at the primary healthcare level. USAID program works to strengthen health systems by facilitating the right governance and leadership structure at national and sub-national level. She oversees the reproductive health family planning portfolio at the mission and serves as USAID point of contact within the FP 2030 partnership in Nigeria. And she's actively involved in the advocating for family planning as a game changer for universal health coverage goals. And despite many challenges that accompany health financing and insufficient supplies of FP commodities, the mission boasts of threefold increase in uptake of family planning services over the 4 to 5 years in the 7 USAID supported states in Nigeria. Our major areas of interest and focus include gender, especially the prevention of gender-based violence, youth development, and adolescent health. She serves as a localization POC for the health office, empowering local actors towards taking ownership of improving the health of their population. In her spare time, Gertrude loves exploring her artistic side through poetry and dance. I hope you do a bit of Gertrude. I hope you do a bit of SRHR infused poetry as well. Anyway, you're welcome, and it's such a pleasure to have you today.
Thank you so much, Bless Me. I'm really glad to be here. I think, by the way, POC, for those of us who don't know what that means, is point of contact. So I've been asked to talk about the relevance of sexual and reproductive health rights in the current context. So I'll start by saying good day from Nigeria, the land of the best jollof rice that you can ever muster in West Africa. There's a lot of noise in the background though. And if you have never heard of jollof rice, please Google it and do well to try that delicacy. So like Bless Me said, my name is Gertrude Odezugo. I'm a public health physician. I'm truly, truly delighted to be honored with this opportunity to give the keynote address at this meeting. So I will not talk about sexual reproductive health and rights as key to ending preventable maternal and child deaths, because I'm sure that we're all in agreement on that. There is vast literature that supports this. It is my understanding that my speech is expected to inform, inspire, and motivate us all, and serve as a reminder that all the beautiful work you all have been doing really matter. You all have no doubt touched countless lives in the everyday work that you do. I'm sure of that, and I'm proud of all of us that have to do work in this space. So why sexual reproductive health and rights? So I'll start this off with a personal story. So I had my last child by elective cesarean section, and as part of my birth plan, I had agreed with my OBGYN to have both tubes tied during the CS, that is bilateral tubal ligation. We all know this is or intended to be a permanent contraceptive method. Fast forward to the day of delivery, which was the 6th of September 2012. And just before I'm being wheeled into theater, a nurse comes along with a consent form and she hands it over to my husband for his signature. Note that there weren't spaces for two signatures, just one. And I'm like, I don't understand. I'm the one undergoing the procedures. I am the one with the body, the one with the tubes to be tied. And while she was still looking at my husband as if expecting a nod from him to go ahead and hand over the form to me, I took it from her, read through it carefully, signed it, and handed it to my husband for his own comprehension. Now, let's picture that scenario a little differently. Let's say I had little or no education, little or no financial prowess, and no decision-making ability. Would the situation have panned out differently? It certainly would have been very different. On the World Health Organization webpage, it says that WHO strives for the attainment by all people of the highest possible level of sexual and reproductive health. And according to the WHO Human Reproduction Special Program 2024, sexual reproductive health and rights involves the availability of information about and the access to safe, effective, affordable, and acceptable methods of birth control. We also agree with this at USAID. And for over 50 years, USAID has led the world in supporting voluntary family planning and reproductive health programs that help women and couples make their own reproductive health decisions and plan their families. Today, because of USAID's work in family planning, millions of women and couples globally can choose the number, timing, and spacing of their pregnancies, resulting in significant social, economic, and health gains for families and for communities. You can read more about USAID's work in USAID's Pathways to Progress for Sexual and Reproductive Health 2024-2030. It's online. And for us to achieve the above, best believe that we have had to partner with countries on ongoing improvements in the ways and manners with which we deliver family planning and reproductive health programs that contribute to longer, healthier, and more prosperous lives for all. So what are these improvements that need to take place? And what do we mean by current context? Contexts will differ. With geography, I can see a lot of us are from different countries and even different continents from the world, and will be accounted for by laws, policies, various socioeconomic parameters, the strength of the health systems, age distribution of populations, etc. However, there is one thing, one common goal that binds all countries together, so to speak, and that is the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. There are 17 SDGs, sometimes referred to as 17 goals to transform our world. I will not go about listing all 17 goals here, but I urge us to take a moment after this to examine each of these goals. I assure you that you will see how reproductive health and rights, especially of women and girls, affect the attainment of each of these goals and vice versa. You can read the annual SDG reports. They're all open source from 2016 till date 2024. They're all available online. And even though we were hard hit by the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, and countries have had to pivot and make shifts in finance and system strengthening efforts to be better ready for similar shocks in the future, the principles that underline the SDGs remain the same. If we take a look at SDG 3, for example, it looks at ensuring health and well-being for all, including a bold commitment to end the epidemics of AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria, and other communicable diseases by 2030. It also aims to achieve universal health coverage and provide access to safe and effective medicines and vaccines for all. So the key words and phrases here are health and well-being for all, universal health coverage, safe and effective medicines, including contraceptives and vaccines for all. It is a well-known fact that universal health coverage cannot be achieved without integrating sexual and reproductive health care into national health plans. I'll take the following quote, which is directly from WHO about the relevance of SRHR in universal health coverage. It says sexual and reproductive health are integral elements of the right of everyone to the enjoyment of the highest attainable standard of physical and mental health. The United Nations SDGs have explicitly recognized sexual and reproductive health and reproductive rights as essential not only to health, but also to gender equality and wider economic and social development. Access to comprehensive sexual and reproductive health services are therefore critical for progressing towards universal health coverage, while also contributing to gender equality. End of quote. At USAID, we recognize that the changing global landscape necessitates adaptations within the FPRH program itself. We believe that addressing 6 critical issues and opportunities is vital to confronting the greatest challenges of our time and to drive progress beyond programs. 1, multi-sectoral approach. Responding to the needs of a growing reproductive age population without increases in funding requires a multi-sectoral approach. USAID's family planning funding has remained flat for the last 14 years at $575 million US per annum. Therefore, to meet the SRH needs of growing populations in their reproductive years, USAID recognizes the place of evidence-informed decision-making on focusing on resources, prioritizing specific SRH needs, and leveraging cross-sector opportunities to achieve favorable SRH and development outcomes. The second one is recognizing the needs of the largest generation of youth in history. The world is currently home to the largest ever youth population. We therefore need an increased focus on funding and policies that address the health and well-being of young people. We are talking about 1.2 billion people aged between 15 and 24 years. That is 16% of the global population, and this is still expected to rise by 7% to nearly 1.3 billion by 2030. SRH programs must also meet the needs of adolescents in their diversity, including by promoting positive social norms and policies that provide supportive environments for young people. I do not know what the youth populations are in the various countries where you work, but going by the above data, suffice it to say that most developing countries have young populations and that addressing their needs holistically is not just a low-hanging fruit, but can be the game changer to ensuring equitable access to SRHR and health in general. The third one will be strengthening primary health care. This is self-explanatory. We have emphasized the need for SRHR for all and universal health coverage. PHC, that's primary health care, is at the center of universal health coverage. In a low to middle income country like Nigeria, where I'm from, primary healthcare services serve as much as 70% of the population. Therefore, programs must deliberately seek to strengthen primary health care and expand universal health coverage to improve sexual and reproductive health. The fourth one is supporting localization. At USAID, we firmly believe that in depending on local solutions to solving local problems. We believe that an increased focus on local initiatives creates avenues for partnership and greater impact. This includes shifting power to local actors like your CSOs and allocating a larger proportion of program assistance directly to local organizations and partners. So we're saying, please look within. The fifth one is addressing the effects of climate change. Similar to the importance of building health systems that are pandemic ready, climate change presents urgent consequences that require resilience and climate adaptation efforts, while of course recognizing the challenges presented by rapid population growth in the face of limited resources. And then the sixth one is we believe in reducing poverty and supportive, inclusive economic development. Another well-known fact is that countries that have transitioned to middle income status or reaped the benefits of the demographic dividend have invested in sexual reproductive health information and services, including rights-based family planning. We must continue to advocate for investments in sexual and reproductive health as a critical development intervention that is linked to increases in girls' education, women's empowerment and workforce participation, and reductions in extreme poverty. Underpinning all the work that we do under these 6 priorities at USAID, our emphasis is on social and behavior change, comprehensive sexuality education, development, testing, and scaling of new or improved contraceptive methods, reproductive health commodity security, implementation research, integration of menstrual health information and counseling, expansion of safe and effective self-care services, knowledge generation, synthesis and dissemination, domestic resource mobilization, healthcare financing and appropriate resource allocation, human resource for health, private sector and market development approaches, referrals, integration, and multi and cross-sectoral partnerships. Remember the term for all. Your SRHR program should be tailored to provide access to all, access to the right information, access to quality services and commodities, access to all women and girls wherever they are on planet Earth, whatever age, socioeconomic status, gender identity, and whether they are in conflict-affected settings or not. It is their rights. It is our fundamental human right to be able to choose how many children, when to have them, and with whom, if at all. So you remember the personal story I told you at the beginning. It is an indication that you need a multifaceted approach. Integration, in my opinion, is key. Think about education of the girl child. child and boy, of course, livelihood opportunities, gender equality, social and behavior change, etc. You know, SRHR for all is all our collective responsibility, and there's still so much that we can do. But first of all, I thank you for listening. Please keep up the good work. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Gertrude, for that very inspiring speech. One key word that I picked from there is access to everyone. Access to everyone, access to every section of reproductive health and right. SRHR integral to reaching universal health coverage. And of course, when access to everyone, irrespective of geographical location, whether it's in a humanitarian setting or it's not, and access to everyone, irrespective of what gender identity they identify as. Everyone deserves, and everyone is a fundamental human right of everyone, socioeconomic status notwithstanding. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I do hope that you can stay longer for the rest of the meeting. And if you have any questions or comments, you can put them in the chat box and then I can read. I have 2 minutes to take questions or comments. Yeah, but while we wait for that, I would also like to reiterate the house rules, which are one, it's important that you mute your mic so that you don't interrupt others when they are talking. And of course, let's ensure that we're respectful and considerate while we give our opinion, comments, while asking our questions, and as well also please kindly use the format of name, pronouns, organization in your display name on Zoom. And of course, again, if someone expresses an opinion that you did not agree with, it's important to keep the conversation respectful. And the beauty of a conversation is diverse and different opinions, basically, so that we can see from all perspectives. Yeah. Well, you have a lot of thumbs up. Thank you, Dr. Gertrude, in the chat. There's a lot of thank you. Yeah. Super. Okay. If there are no comments or questions, it means that everything you said, everybody understood it. And yeah, thank you so much. I would like to move to the next thing on our agenda.
Can I put a question?
Okay, there's a question in the chat.
I can't see the chat, so.
Okay, you have 30 seconds to ask a question.
Thank you very much. I'm Getachew from Ethiopia. Thank you very much, Dr. Gertrude. Indeed, that was quite inspiring, and I think you hit the points right on the head. There's no, looking at the title itself, it says relevance of SRH in current context. There is no doubt that based on what you mentioned in the multifaceted way, SRH could be found in every framework, and it's so close to our hearts. What worries me quite, as a person who has stayed for 3 decades in this sector, is the ever-increasing anti-choice movement now globally, who are trying to make SRHR relevant. We are talking about being relevant. Yes, there is no doubt about it, because we know it works in every facet of life. But there are anti-choice groups who are organized in every continent and at global level too. And I think we ought to project, as much as we have gained a lot in the last 3 decades since SRHR. By the way, this year is the 30th anniversary of SRHR. The
ICPD, I think.
The ICPD declaration. So when I filled in fact, the form, I said we should focus in the framework of SRHR. I don't know whether the organizers listen to my comment or our ideas met somewhere on the way. I'm glad that it is there, because it is double anniversary for me. 10th year anniversary for SHAREnet International, but globally, we're also celebrating the 30th anniversary of ICPD. So I'm quite surprised that I know your focus is more on the positive side, on the relevance of it. But in every forum that we are discussing globally, regionally, internationally, we are now talking about the threats that's coming from the anti-choice movement, not only to stall the gains that we have obtained the last 30 years, but they are trying to reverse back. I can give concrete example, but we don't have the time. So I think I would like to hear something on your side. And we know that the best example is found in US actually, after Roe versus Wade, So I would have expected something to talk about that challenge, not only the positive of it, the gains, but the pains that we are going through right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the question. I will just quickly add the few questions in the chat so that she can take it, and then we close the session. So there is a question in the chat that says, how can we make users of traditional contraceptive methods shift to modern methods? And then Adriana is also agreeing to that there is indeed a growing and strongly SRHR opposition in Latin America, and they are threatening the rights of women and LGBTQ people. So what are your thoughts on the anti-choice movement and how it's affecting the gains of SRHR in the past 30 years?
Okay, so thank you so much for that question. I might not answer your question because from my speech, you will see that I have focused SRHR in the context of what USAID is doing, and I want to believe it is what most of other organizations are doing. And from my experience in Nigeria, anti-choice groups are not a big deal for us. Hence the reason why I did not focus much on in my presentation. I understand that this is a very diverse group, and there will be diverse notions, diverse standings, right? But as somebody who is representing USAID, anti-choice groups right now is not right. What I battle with in Nigeria right now is mainly, and I want to believe it's same for many low and middle income countries, is how to get access to the most vulnerable populations. There's a lot of conflict, for instance, in my interior settings. There's a lot of cultural issues that you have to deal with. So SBC. So I think there are other issues that I deal with that I have to surmount on a daily basis, and so anti-choice groups is not one of them. I think one of the other questions was something about how do you shift from traditional to LARC? Again, when context specificity is important, it's difficult to have a one size fits all for different geographies. I can tell you from experience that even in Nigeria, you cannot have a one size fits all for the 6 geopolitical zones. And that's because there are various, if you're conducting the needs assessment, there are various issues that would be impacting access to or universal health coverage for SRHR in various parts of the country where I'm working in. And so in figuring out why, for instance, a geography A is still stuck with traditional methods, that gives me an inkling on who the stakeholders should be, how I should program and all that. So there, again, it's not possible to have a one size fits all. Why are people or why are women sticking with traditional methods? There must be a reason. They must see the use, they must see the need, and so how do you get them to realize that modern contraceptives, are a better fit for what they are looking for, assuming that what they are looking for is actually spacing of pregnancy and all. I didn't get the last question.
Yeah, the last question is more of a comment supporting the point of the person that had asked the question. But then
I'd like to hear more actually from the partners here, Shannon, because for me, like I told Blessing, bless me, this will most likely also be a learning curve for me, and so I'll really be interested in figuring maybe my HIV/AIDS colleagues, might
yeah,
have issues with anti-choice groups, right?
yeah. So thank you
Yeah.
very much. I would also like to bring this conversation. I hope that our panel session that is coming up will also reflect on this question. So because I also don't want to sweep the question away, I think it's a very important. Globally, there is indeed a rise and a rise against SRHR, especially the gains that we've made in the past 30 years of SRHR. SRHR opposition is becoming a church globally, but I'm hoping that our panel members will be able to reflect on this question. So yes, your question is valid, but I'm going to shift it to and see what the panelists, their reflections on this. And yeah, hopefully you can also pick one or two things from the discussion. Thank you very much, Dr. Gertrude. Well, Dr. Gertrude is still here on the call, and then she probably can provide more responses to the question in the chat while we move to the next thing. I think now we move to the icebreaker. Well, we can give a virtual round of applause for Dr. Gertrude. Yeah, you can use your reaction buttons. You can also show your hands and all of that. Yes, cool. So, Shenet members, all of us, how well do you know Shenet International? So, I would say let's get our phone, our computer, whatever we have used to join this meeting, and then we can go to menti.com on our computer using this code, and then you will get a bit of questions. Well, I might have a prize for whoever gets all the three questions or all the 3 or 4 questions right. Well, you have to see me after the event to get your prize, but I might have a prize, whether it's a virtual one or a physical one. So you can use the QR code as well. And then, yeah, the questions will come up on your phone, your device, whatever you have used. Yeah. Are we all in? Oh. Yeah. The code is not working. Yeah, this is a new code. Please use this new code. Huh? Yeah. Try the QR code. The QR code is working. Okay, 2 people has managed to enter. Yes, yes. Oh, yes. When was Shenet International founded? Are we able to get in? Okay, more people are joining. Yeah, you can still see the code on the screen. Yeah. Super. Yeah, only 3 people. It's 10 years. Oh no. Yes. ShareNet was founded in 2010, people. Anyway, let's go to the next question. Oh, yeah. My God. Okay, ShareNet International Strategy includes a focus on integrating gender perspective into all aspects of SRHR programming. True or false? True. Okay. Ah, yes, more people are joining. Cool. Yes, well, yes, gender is a very important aspect of SRHR programming. We'll go to the last question. Which of the following is a thematic focus area of ShareNet International? Oh my God. I wanted to make it easy for everyone. Someone said this is too easy in the chat. So, sexual pleasure, adolescent health, maternal health, all of the above. Yes, it is all of the above, all of it. Sexual pleasure, adolescent health, maternal health, they are very important aspect of thematic focus for ShareNet International. Of course, there are more. We do all aspect of SRHR, all the thematic topics within SRHR. Great. Thank you so much for coming. I hope that you've been able to pick 1 or 2 things more about ShareNet. And now I just realized that we are celebrating 10 years. The 2010 answer was supposed to be 2014. But anyway, so everyone was right in that one. Great. Thank you so much for participating. Now we will hear a bit from our members. We have asked members to submit how they have seen ShareNet and how they have interacted with ShareNet in the past 10 years since they become member of ShareNet. And some members have things to say about how their own experience or their own journey with ShareNet International Network. Take it away, Shannon.
My name is Rawanda Singh, and I'm thrilled to celebrate 10 years of ShareNet International with you all. As a passionate advocate for gender equality and sexual and reproductive health and rights, my journey with ShareNet has been truly transformative. My story with ShareNet began during my master's degree in gender and women studies. It was then that I first became a part of ShareNet Jordan community of practice. Together, we embarked on vital research focusing on SRHR. One of our significant projects involved researching and summarizing multiple references on SRHR. This year, we took it a step further by launching a podcast series dedicated to SRHR. The experience was not only educational but also empowering. It allowed us to spread awareness and engage with a broader audience. Being a part of ShareNet has also provided me with a great opportunities to attend conferences and meetings, deepening my understanding and commitment to SRHR in Jordan. As a gender and policies worker, these experiences have been priceless in shaping my career and advocacy. As we celebrate this milestone, I look forward to connecting with other SRHR defenders around the world. Let's continue to share our stories, learn from each other, and work together to advance SRHR globally. Thank you, ShareNet International, for this incredible journey.
We have recorded many benefits from this membership to ShareNet International. As a knowledge platform, this has contributed a lot for our organization development and advancement.
Being a member of ShareNet International has contributed to our organization living equality initiatives in different ways. First of all, ShareNet International helped us to connect with different organizations which works on sexual reproductive health and rights.
With the skill sets that are provided by ShareNet International, our organization, Living Equality Initiative, have been able to be impacted in terms of having tangible grants and money to amplify sexual reproductive health and rights in our community in Rwanda.
Having participated in the Bloom campaign project, we have new approaches for engaging young people, for example, meaningful youth participation, MYP, and also have expanded our global network via ShareNet International digital platform.
The benefits I recorded as being a member of ShareNet International is that I got the opportunity to access resources and knowledge, networking with different smart people, capacity building, advocacy support, and platform for collaboration.
We have realized that working in a platform, collaborating with the many people can help you grow better and fast, and also can give you knowledge that you don't have. This is being initiated in our organization.
We want to be a bridge connecting generational transformation from one aspect of life knowledge and skills from one level to another. So with ShareNet International, we hope to achieve more through international expertise so as we can change our own communities.
Wow, thanks to our members in Rwanda and from Rwanda and Jordan. That's amazing to see how engaging on this platform on the ShareNet International Network is helping you to do your work better and really reach people, that the most vulnerable people, and reach people that are in need the most. Great. Yeah, again, it's a reminder that we are in a celebratory mode of the 10 years anniversary of Making Impact, and 10 years anniversary of collaboration, 10 years anniversary of knowledge sharing, 10 years anniversary of generating knowledge through different activities that ShareNet have. Then I'd like to move to the next thing on the agenda quickly. We have heard from our members, we have heard from our keynote speaker. It's time to hear from the Secretariat, from the ShareNet Secretariat itself, to see, okay, what has ShareNet International been up to in 2023, and probably also give you a glimpse of what is already happening in 2024, and maybe what 2025 or the future, well, we don't know, might look like. So I would like to invite Maria Codina, who is the co-coordinator of ShareNet International, and Carolina Pena, who is the ShareNet Colombia coordinator, to, yeah, take it away. They have the floor.
Yeah, thank you, and bless me. I will start sharing some of the insights of ShareNet International and the hubs in 2023. So also another moment to celebrate. And then Carolina will continue with some other examples of the things that we have done. I wanted to share with you that ShareNet International has continued growing as a network over 2023 with more than 626 new members registered. And you can see here from each of the hubs and ShareNet International how many there were. We have also worked on a new membership engagement strategy that will last from 2024 to 2027. So we have started implementing it this year. And with this strategy, we really want to reach out more to you, hear a little bit more of what is it that you need and how can ShareNet support you in your work. Also, our social media channels have grown by 84% with more than 3,080 new followers. So you can also find us on LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and Instagram. And we have also invested on our digital safety and security. There has been an update of the privacy policy on all our ShareNet websites so that it's GDPR compliance. We have also started putting more focus on digital rights, and that it's translated on a new community of practice that will start, or that has started in 2024. Yeah, I think we can go to the next one. And another thing that we have changed in 2023 is that we have divided our boards. So for those that are new in the ShareNet International family, part of our organizational analysis, we had a ShareNet International board that was composed by some of our members, representatives of the network, as well as representatives from the host organization of ShareNet. That became of quite a big group, a little bit difficult to manage. So it was decided by the board and the secretariats to divide this group and have an advisory board and an executive board. The advisory board is a group of independent SRHR advisors, members of ShareNet International, and we have 7 of them. And they have terms of like 2 to 3 years with the opportunity to continue after that. So maybe in a few years you will see a call for applicants or members of this advisory board, and we would invite you to please be involved in this. They are responsible for the long-term strategic direction of ShareNet International and oversee that we implement our strategic plan, and they support, of course, the ShareNet executive board and the secretariats. And in 2023, we changed the chair. We said goodbye to Yvette and we welcome Noor. And in 2024, we got 3 new members, but that's going to be for next year annual members meeting. And then we have the executive board, which is, as I said, representatives from the host organizations of the hub. So there are 7 people there. They have a rotating chair, and they are basically responsible of the overall execution and sustainability of the network. And finally, I wanted to share also something about the activation grants. We granted 13 activation grants in 2023. And you can find them on our website. We also developed the Knowledge Products Library, where you can find all the knowledge products developed from the beginning of ShareNet. And you have the picture here below. So I would also invite everyone to go there and see the knowledge products that have been developed, and it was launched in January 2024. And finally, last year, we had our first knowledge product showcase event, which took place in July 2023. And there we presented 12 different grants, and you can still find the videos on YouTube on our channel. So please, if you're still curious about those grants, you can just go and take a look. And I will pass the mic to Carolina.
Thank you, Maria. Okay, regarding our communities of practice, we want to share that they are the center of the knowledge management we do at ShareNet. Last year, we had 39 active COPs in all our hubs, working on 25 different SRHR topics. Here you see highlighted in pink the ones that are also international COPs, where members from all of our platform can collaborate together. Those ICOPs are Engaging Men and Boys, Gender-Based Violence, and SRHR for Youth and Adolescents. So we really want to encourage you to join these learning and collaborative spaces to generate, translate, and disseminate more knowledge together. And here you see some pictures that are from some videos developed by our hubs in Burundi, Ethiopia, and Jordan. Next, please. We have a knowledge translation, many knowledge translation activities. Last year, one was the Sharing, which is the finalization of that process, all the hubs had the chance to explore, experiment, and exchange together with their members effective strategies to translate newly acquired knowledge around SRHR information and education towards policy influencing and improving practice. In this case, 9 knowledge products were developed by the hub members on the topic of access to SRHR information and education in different subtopics such as climate change, CSE, LGBTIQ+ people, menstrual health, etc. And we also had the chance to meet for a final international learning session in Ethiopia in February 2023. The other process we had was the Knowledge Translation Fund, where all the hubs from ShareNet applied for extra funding to implement regional or national knowledge translation activities based on ShareNet International methodologies, but contextualized to each context. In this case, 3 regional activities were proposed from Burundi, Jordan, and Colombia, and 2 national activities from Burkina Faso and Ethiopia, which are currently being implemented in each of the countries. We want to show you some highlights from 2023, which include our participation in Women Deliver Conference back in July, where we held a side event along with IBP, and also we had a ShareNet booth. Here you see all the team that were participating in that booth and also on the event. We launched a Pleasure Bank website that contains a gallery of pleasure-centered illustrations that can use for CSE. We had the 8th Knowledge Fair of ShareNet Bangladesh in September with the theme SRHR and Education for Smart Bangladesh. We also launched a podcast in Colombia called Conversaciones Resonantes, which had some 5 episodes on gender-based violence and positive narratives on abortion. And there was the development of the animation video, The Tale of Two Girls from ShareNet Ethiopia, and some audiovisual knowledge translation products on disability and inclusion, which were developed by the Community of Practice on People Living with Disabilities from ShareNet Burundi. I give you the floor back again, Maria.
Yeah, another of the important activities or pathways that we focus on in 2023 was establishing or strengthening our partnerships and also working on fundraising. For partnerships, we engage in more than 20 partnerships within ShareNet International and all the hubs. And some examples are with Center for Countering Digital Hate, the IBP Network, Equality Now, and Gender Health and Adolescence, and Global Evidence, and also ShareNet International signed the Global Health Pact here in the Netherlands. We also focus a lot on fundraising because I believe that most of you are aware, but 2024 is the last year of this funding cycle. So we set up a fundraising task force, which was composed by members of the Secretariat and the host organization of the hubs and ShareNet International. We developed a sustainability plan and also built some guidelines on a sustainability hub plan that needed to be developed by each of the country hubs, and they also try to set up some concrete actions to improve our sustainability. We have also worked on reactive or business development activities. For example, we submitted proposals for UNESCO to set up a community of practice. And then we also had a little bit more proactive or warm acquisition by meeting and presenting ShareNet to potential donors. And that we have done at international level, but also at country level. Next. Just to share also a little bit about the finance of ShareNet International, the budget for 2023 was of 2.159 million euros, and expenditure was a little bit higher, 129,000 euros more, and that was mainly due to the efforts that we have put on improving our digital safety and security work, especially on the digital platform. Yeah, and now a little bit of what is happening in 2024. As you have been seeing, we're celebrating the 10 years of ShareNet International, and there have been different activities here and there to showcase what we have been doing on the past 10 years. And please keep updated with our newsletter or mails to hear a little bit more on how we're going to celebrate. And we're also rethinking ShareNet International as a platform and the hubs, as this is going to be our last year of funding for now. Within this cycle, we're seeing, what do we need to improve in the network to have more impact? We have also started implementing the Knowledge Translation Fund. I think Carolina briefly presented it before, but in this year, all the big activities have taken place, like knowledge fair and conferences. We're going to increase our visibility and strengthen our partnerships. For example, with IBP, we organized a side event for the World Health Assembly a month ago, more or less. As I mentioned, digital rights, digitalization, and communications are still very important for us, and we are going to put big effort on these topics. And finally, the adaptation of the theory of change of ShareNet International, which was revised last year, and this year is being adapted. And finally, Leslie asked me to maybe share some highlights of ShareNet International over the past 10 years. It's actually a little bit more than 10 years because ShareNet International became operational as a platform in 2013. But I think that it was not until 2014 and 2015 when we started having international hubs. So 2014 for Burundi and Bangladesh, and in 2015 the hub in Jordan. In 2016, ShareNet International and ShareNet Burundi organized the kickoff of the NVO Votro research that took place in Burundi. And in 2017, we had the first round of the ShareNet International Rapid Improvement model, where all the countries at that moment took part. And also Jordan had the kickoff meeting for the NVO Votro research. And for those research, they are still available on our website. So if you're still interested, you can take a look. I think in 2018, ShareNet International became to professionalize itself. So we developed a strategy, the plans and frameworks, and also the theory of change. And in 2019, we had the first co-creation conference that took place here in the Netherlands on infertility and SRHR in conflict settings. And in 2020, we welcome our 3 new hubs that are not so new anymore, but in Burkina Faso, Colombia, and Ethiopia. And unfortunately, it was also the COVID year. So we decided to have a dedicated budget or dedicated funds for a special activation grants that were linking SRHR and COVID. In 2021, all the hubs were set up and working. And also the second co-creation conference took place in Bangladesh. Well, it took place online, but it was hosted by ShareNet Bangladesh. In 2022, our hub in Colombia, even if they were quite new by then, organized the third co-creation conference, and we also set up the digital platform. And in 2023, we finalized, as you heard today, the second ShareAIM trajectory, and we started with the Knowledge Translation Fund. And 2024, we're still halfway, but it is a year of rethinking ShareNet and saying how can we become a platform with more impact. And I think this is enough from my side. I'm happy to reply to questions also in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria Carolina. Yeah, thanks for taking us through what is happening in the Secretariat. Yeah, please, if you have questions to Maria and Carolina, I would encourage you to put them in the chat. Yeah, well, we are going to hear from our members again now. And then from there, yeah, so I would have loved to give us opportunity to ask the questions, but now we are running against time. So please put your questions in the chat. Maria and Carolina will be there to respond to your questions in the chat. And feel free to put the questions in any language. Yeah, be sure to get answer. Maria can speak like 3 languages. She speaks Spanish, French, and English. So yes, she can respond to anyone. Anyway, we would like to hear from our members again, and then we go to the panel discussion where we have more room for interaction. Good.
Hola, yo soy Ani Marcela Garzón Segura, soy fundadora de Almademia, la Academia de Amor Consciente y Desarrollo Personal con Perspectiva de Género, y soy miembro de CareNet Colombia desde hace 2 años y medio más o menos. Para mí CareNet ha sido una gran plataforma para encontrarme y reencontrarme con personas que tenemos como el mismo propósito de interés, que es democratizar el conocimiento sobre derechos sexuales y reproductivos. Eso ha sido muy importante porque yo siento que es un conocimiento que ha sido tradicionalmente muy privatizado, institucionalizado y un gran privilegio que aleja a las personas también de la oportunidad de elegir lo mejor para sus vidas. Así que siento que en CareNet he podido encontrar una comunidad en donde nos apoyamos y creamos iniciativas que contribuyen a la apropiación social de este conocimiento y en particular, que es lo que a mí más me interesa, la prevención también de las violencias y el alivio del sufrimiento humano también. Y en segundo lugar, para mí también CareNet ha sido como la oportunidad de tener un gran megáfono a través del cual compartir mi conocimiento, mi experiencia, mis ideas, y eso también me ha permitido ganar, por un lado, autoconfianza como institución y como persona, pero además conectarme con más personas que tienen interés en acceder a mis servicios y también como en seguir construyendo una red, una gran red de cuidados personales y colectivos. Así que creo que CareNet me ha generado todo eso y estoy también muy agradecida de formar parte de esta red.
Hello and welcome, colleagues. I am Mondasan Aragahan. I am an Ethiopian journalist and member of ShareNet Ethiopia. It has been 3 years since I joined ShareNet Ethiopia. My membership to ShareNet Ethiopia has enabled me to widen my understanding on a wide range of health issues in Ethiopia and the world at large. Thanks to ShareNet, I have been able to attain the first-hand presentations by health professionals, media practitioners, researchers, and analysts on sexual reproductive health and rights and other important issues. And also, you know, I have attained lessons on how to combat underlying health problems such as early marriage and other critical challenges in concerted manner. I have been able to get enough information and understanding how to tackle these problems in Ethiopia and beyond. And the lessons I obtained from my membership to ShareNet are now enabling me to incorporate critical health matters in my day-to-day reporting works. I want to take this opportunity to reiterate my commitment to enhance my partnership and cooperation with ShareNet Ethiopia and ShareNet International at large. Thank you.
Yes, thank you to our member from Colombia and also to our members from Ethiopia. We are very happy to see how your engagement with ShareNet, how it has really improved how you do your work and how you are reaching out to people through that. Yeah, so we are going to go to the panel presentation, the panel discussion. And the panel discussion is mainly going to be focused on how ShareNet International has been through the years. So they are going to put in more conversation in ShareNet International through the years. This will be moderated by the coordinator, the co-coordinator of ShareNet International, Doreen. Doreen, are you here? Okay, I can see you.
I am here.
Great. But then I would like to introduce to you guys, to everyone, our panel members. First, this is Enna. Enna is a member of the ShareNet International Advisory Board. Enna is a medical doctor and is a youth frontline health worker. So he's not just a medical doctor, is actively engaging in XRHR practice in terms of clinical practice and public health practice. Yeah, he has extensive, okay, that's enough for you. Our next panel member is Adriana M. Perez Rodriguez. I hope I pronounced the name well, but please feel free to say it properly. Adriana is currently doing a PhD in Women and Gender Studies at the University of Toronto, and she's a member of ShareNet Colombia, and she's focused on feminist research, and of course, she's dedicated to knowledge production for activism purpose. And then we have Jennifer Boucher, who is a ShareNet Netherlands member. Jennifer has been like one of the longest standing member of ShareNet Netherlands. And she's a very pleasant person to interact with all the times that I've interacted with her. But Jennifer currently coordinates the SRHR Strategic Partnership at the Makeway Partnership at WIMOS, and her background is in medical ethics. And of course, she has provided various technical and leadership positions across advocacy, communications, and program management. Jennifer, I've seen ShareNet from when ShareNet was just a Dutch network, and into seeing how ShareNet metamorphosed into ShareNet International. Yeah, she's a member for over 20 years. And then we are going to have Masuma Bila, who is one of the, who is a former ShareNet Bangladesh coordinator, and she was one of the first early coordinators when ShareNet International was moving into more country hubs and trying to set up country hub networks. Masuma is currently the program head, Gender Justice and Diversity Program, BRAC. One of the largest development organization in the world. Whoa. And then she is academically trained in demography and statistics, and she's from Bangladesh at the moment. She used to work for Red Orange before she moves to BRAC. You're welcome, all our panelists, and I'm now going to give the floor to Doreen to take the conversation forward.
Yes, thank you, Bless Me, and hello, panelists. Are you all there? Just checking. I think I saw everyone, but I'm very happy to welcome you and to facilitate this panel. Yes, there is Adriana, and I think Jennifer, Masuma. I've seen you as well. A really nice panel with people that I know more or less well. And I think I go long back with Jennifer. I think the first ICPD that I attended years ago, Jennifer was there, very experienced telling me all about opposition mapping. That is, I was yesterday thinking how I know all these people. We go long back talking about opposition. That comes up when I think about Jennifer. And Masuma, we know each other also from the start. I think in my first year when we organized the co-creation conference all online during COVID, we had the very fancy digital site that was developed by Red Orange you were facilitating. So that is what I recall from you. Now you came 2 years ago if not 3 years ago, into our advisory board as a youth representative. I'm not so sure how youthful you are at the moment. It's been 3 years later, but I have never met you in person. Also, I think, Masuma, we have never met in person, but there will be a moment we maybe meet, because I know you're coming to the Netherlands, and I know you're coming to the Netherlands quite a lot, so maybe we will meet. For now, it needs to be virtual. The person that I know the least, or I've only seen described in the bio, is Adriana. So we are here to celebrate. We have a couple of questions that we want to discuss. I'm going to ask you some questions and you can respond, and also maybe jump in. People can ask questions in the chat as well. So I hope that someone helps us also to look at the chat. But I'd like to start with you, Adriana, to maybe tell a little bit about yourself and your experience in ShareNet over, I think, the past 2 years, and how that has evolved, and then we can take it from there.
Well, thank you very much, Serene, for all that, and thank you very much, ShareNet, and everyone that has been moderating this wonderful space and making it like alive. I'm Adriana Perez Rodriguez. I'm from Colombia, but I'm saying hi right now from Toronto in Canada, where I'm currently studying my PhD. Okay, let me tell you a bit about me. I'm from Colombia, exactly from Cúcuta, that is a city, small city on the Colombo-Venezuelan border. And I work there co-founding and directing an organization of feminist research for advocacy purposes that is called the Observatorio de Asuntos de Género del Norte de Santander. I know that is a long name, but in English would be something around like the Observatory of Gender Issues of Norte de Santander. And in that organization, our purpose was to generate knowledge about gender, about sexual and reproductive rights, about gender security and gender violence, in order to contribute to transform the region that we were part of. I left the direction 2 years ago, and now I moved to Toronto, where I'm studying my PhD in Women and Gender Studies. So I'm still in ShareNet, more now like an individual researcher, collaborating and helping in all the processes in Colombia. And I'm just very happy to be here and share my reflections. Thank you very much.
That's very, very nice to hear, Adriana. So you are still a little new to the ShareNet family, maybe compared to others, and you already, you felt some connection and benefits to be connected to ShareNet. I wonder if we ask Jennifer, who has been connected for 20 years, I think, already, to ShareNet Netherlands, because ShareNet Netherlands goes even longer back. How can you elaborate a little bit? How has that evolved? And is there maybe a personal example that you can share about how the network has supported your work?
Yeah, well, that's quite an ask. Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Doreen. So let's see. Yeah, I want to say I joined in 2003, maybe, something like that. And it was really the Dutch organizations working abroad that had come together within ShareNet. And a lot of the activities involved presentations from UNFPA, let's say, or presentations between different organizations. There wasn't really a lot of focus from a structure perspective on sharing knowledge. There was certainly, the networking angle was certainly very much built in. And we had a great time, I have to say also. It's really important to understand we had an absolutely great time. And I think we really got attached to ShareNet, kind of like holding on to the umbilical cord, so to speak. For me and my work, it was really a lifeline, because so just a bit about myself. So you saw my bio, but what's important to understand is that I come a bit from the HIV world, and I was, of course, a feminist working within the HIV world. And at one point, we had like major organizations saying, oh, we have to run around and work on girls, women and girls. And it was sort of like, that was the new buzzword, women and girls. So just do something on women and girls, right? That was sort of the throwaway thought. And so suddenly people started running around and doing it. And ShareNet provided a means actually to dig deeper into the work and actually take it seriously and understand, you know, for me anyway, in my career, like what, and in my work, or actually more than my career, but like, you know, in the meaningful stuff that I was doing, to really understand the linkages between gender-based discrimination, women's rights, the situation of women, gender-based violence, etc., and HIV. And so in a way, ShareNet was the place where I was able to start to really get into those issues and bring them into the organization and have it be more than let's just do something on women and girls.
That's very nice to hear, Jennifer. Can others relate to this? Is this something that resonates with you, for example, Masuma, because you're also there for many years? When Ena wants to say something, let's give the word to Masuma first, and then we move to Ena. Is that okay?
Thanks, Doreen. Thanks, panelists. And thank you all. And thanks to ShareNet for inviting me. And thanks to Red Orange, where I used to work, my beloved place, and who introduced me with ShareNet. And I was a ShareNet member before joining Red Orange. And when I came to Red Orange, I started coordinating ShareNet. It's like amazing journey because it reflects in a way that not only for my long development career in Bangladesh, what I found that the other colleagues working in Bangladesh and the other organizations, they know ShareNet, they depend on ShareNet, they use ShareNet, they're influenced by ShareNet in different ways. And interestingly, when we started working the ShareNet and Red Orange had like huge dream and plan and all this with ShareNet, and they started linking the academicians. So the eventually not only the development professionals, but also the academicians, also academics individually, individual faculties, and also as the departments, as the universities, like prominent universities of Bangladesh, they also linked with ShareNet. You know, they also started thinking that ShareNet is the place where they can also disseminate their research for the reach of the young people, and ShareNet can give them that technical support. And interestingly, after that, you know, always in all countries, especially in developing countries, working with the government is very complicated. But ShareNet did it very successfully as well. So the bureaucrats, government professionals, they also know ShareNet in very, you know, amazing way. And all this coordination, what is the ultimate ethos of ShareNet to coordinating the, you know, like the development professional, academics, and the government together. And that, like, you know, interaction ShareNet made very successfully. So this is a success of ShareNet Bangladesh, I must say. And also we started involving the different members in the COPs. So that also made them very, you know, gave them the ownership as they were part of the, like, academicians and the government people. They were part of the started taking, you know, joining in the COPs and giving their, you know, opinion and discussion. So this is how in ShareNet Bangladesh is influencing the development professional among all the development journeys in different organizations. That's a huge reflection that from my end, and I enjoy it personally. Yeah. Thank you, Doreen. I might come back later on.
Masuma, thank you. You wanted to come in now. You want to respond to that or to what I said earlier?
Yes, Doreen, thank you very much. I'm very happy that I'm also joining this panel, not only as an advisory board member, but as a beneficiary of a grant from ShareNet. I must say that, Doreen, I joined ShareNet, I first knew ShareNet in 2019 because I attended the first ever co-creation conference. So it's been a long time. And I was at the first ever co-creation conference through a recommendation from Women Deliver, because I came as a Women Deliver young leader. And so Kaja Ivaisen, the former CEO of Women Deliver, recommended me for the co-creation conference. And that is how I first joined ShareNet or met members of ShareNet International in Amsterdam. So ShareNet first brought me to Holland. So ShareNet was the first organization that brought me to Amsterdam. for the co-creation conference. And I must also say that through ShareNet, I was able to learn the concept of communities of practice, because we came together and we co-created and had several projects. Before, it used to be called the co-creation grant, because I remember we partnered together with BALSDA and Red Orange when COVID was still very, very at the peak. And we had a project that ShareNet funded. We were developing a toolkit to manage SRA-HR in fragile and humanitarian context in Cameroon and Nigeria. And that project came through ShareNet. And together with BALSDA, we were able to implement that project in Cameroon and in Nigeria. So I am a beneficiary of ShareNet International. I have benefited from the grant. Cameroon has benefited from the grant even before becoming an advisory board member. And I must say there's a lot I have learned through ShareNet. In fact, some of the concepts, as I said, the communities of practice, we came together, we had several communities of practice, family planning, SRA-HR, different communities of practice. And this was so beautiful because to me, it was kind of a new concept. But also many offices were opening up, many ShareNet hubs were opening up, because I think previously it used to be just Bangladesh and Burundi. But after some time, other offices, began opening up. So it has been really a great growth for me, a great process for me, seeing the transformation within ShareNet, but also understanding new concepts and new ways of developing knowledge products. It used to be the knowledge grant, something knowledge product grants. That's the first grant before becoming the
First we had small grants,
Exactly. Small
and
grants
now
before
it became
becoming the activation.
activation grants.
Exactly.
I was part of
So I really
developing
wanted
the
to.
small grants. I know. I was on the committee that developed the small grants.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
From which I also benefited later on, by the way. But in a neat, clean way. I'm not in
Well, clearly the grants are very much appreciated by our members, I think, way back and still. It's also by far the most visited place on our digital platform. Now we know how to look at the analytics, so we know much better these days where members really spend their time on. We are very cheerful now. We're cheering and we're looking back at the old days and what ShareNet has brought you professionally, personally. But there must have been challenges, right? And there's challenges all the time. There is the big challenge of the growing opposition. There might be other challenges. Can you think about challenges that you have come across and how they were dealt with, maybe with ShareNet, or who has something to say? Masuma.
Yes. Grant for the knowledge. Those are the new concept. Knowledge fair is a new concept. People never heard about those things. So that was the challenge, to let people understand all the, trajectories that we are offering. And also the co-creation conference. I was the host of you remember, during the first co-creation conference. It was online and there was challenge because this COVID time, everybody was like puzzled, and the network problem and all this, but it was challenging. But we like how we worked on that, like connected people from Africa, from Europe, and all over the countries, and also let people understand how we can think about a project, co-creating project from sitting different part of the world, and we can do it. So all those was sounds very challenging, but ShareNet, all the ShareNet members and the countries worked so hard and so meaningfully and connected way that challenge was in one point was nothing. Yeah, we managed to face those challenges, and co-creation conference. The first co-creation conference was very successful, and the second one was very meaningful. So yeah, those are the challenges I can remember right now.
challenges that were somehow overcome. You all raised your hands.
Certainly.
I will pass the word to Adriana because you had less time to speak. I'm also mindful about the time, and then I move to the others. Adriana, please come in.
Thank you very much. I think one of the challenges, I was in the co-creation conference in 2022, I believe. I'm sorry.
22.
Yeah,
Yeah.
22 that
Colombia.
was in Bogota. After COVID, I lost my sense of time. So I think one of the challenges, and this is a good challenge, is how to learn from each other's differences without trying to universalize them, without trying to make them all similar, but instead how to honor our differences and how to respect our differences and how to make that an opportunity to not only learn from each other, but learn new forms of organizing and learn new ways of coming together. And I think that was a challenge in the co-creation conference because we were all there and we were all learning from each other and we were all having different ideas. And then it's like, okay, but we also have all these differences. And I think something that I learned that time was like how to honor them, how to honor the differences and how to make these a point that will make us come together and come stronger instead of just trying to just like turn them away. So that is one challenge for me. And I think that is a challenge that has to remain. And another challenge in the level of organization processes in ShareNet Colombia and in Latin America as well is how can we strengthen our different struggles for justice, knowing that grant money is important, but we cannot just fully depend on them. Like our struggles cannot just depend on grants because then we'll be just like with a limited time, with limited objectives. So how can we bring grants to the perspective, but not limiting the perspective to it? And that is something we are constantly struggle with, how to learn from that, how to have different times. One is the project time and the objectives of the projects and of the grants, and other ones is our wider objectives. And I think we are coming across that. And again, when we speak of challenges, it's not something that is necessarily negative, but that is forcing us to just like think of togetherness in a more meaningful way.
Yeah, I think challenges can be turned into opportunities, and perhaps like a platform as ShareNet can be become that a joint group, or call it a movement, perhaps to tackle challenges. I wonder also in the audience if there are people who recognize also the challenges that Adriana is expressing in the co-creation conference in Colombia. You attended, maybe some of you attended in Bogota or in other conferences, and you can add in the chat if you like. Jennifer, you wanted also to come in.
Well, to be honest, yes, but maybe Eno has a point he wants to make that ties more closely to what Adriana was saying, because mine's on a very different plane.
Sure, yes, thank you very much. I think, Jennifer, really, I wanted to come in to say that we have had quite a number of conflicts, and I must say that this also really brought me closer to the staff of ShareNet, because having this new concept of co-creating with other partners in implementing a grant was quite conflicting and tedious, because you have partners who have different kind of perspectives and the context differ. And so we were together with BASDA from Nigeria, and we never had similarities. And so we always had conflicting kind of implementation ideas, because, for example, BASDA will say, let's do one DEX review for both countries. And in Cameroon, we will say, no, let's do a DEX review for Cameroon. Our landscape is different from the landscape in Nigeria. And then we'll get back to ShareNet. And I remember there were times when it's either Hannah or Charlotte or Nicole, they will be there as middle ground. You guys calm down. Let's see what can happen. Let's see how we can make this work. Maybe try Nigeria first, then Cameroon. Maybe try Cameroon first, then Nigeria. It was really difficult. But I would say that really gave us a good perspective of how to work as a consortium, how to work with different partners. Because previously we would just implement a grant as an organization. But co-creating together, in bringing two countries, two partners who have never met each other. We never met, we just met at the co-creation conference, and then you go back to your countries, and then you start working online, virtually, and then you have to implement the project. So it was really tedious to manage that, both financially, both in terms of processes, both in terms of documentations and meetings. But I think ShareNet really was the middle ground. ShareNet really was there, to help us cross that bridge. And at the end of the day, we had a very good toolkit which we produced. And that was really disseminated both in Cameroon and Nigeria. So that challenge was really there based on this concept of co-creating and working together. But at the end of the day, we learned how to work as, partners coming together and bringing different kind of implementation ideas. But at the end of the day, producing the same kind of results. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I recognize this challenge a lot because I don't think it only happened in your case. So yeah, working between different countries on projects, it's always very very challenging. But well, we have a couple of good examples of very nice products that were created by partners and members from different places. Also, if in the audience are people who recognize this challenge and want to share how they have gone about it, please reflect. Do you want to add, Jennifer, or you had something new to say?
Well, it wasn't very sexy. I was going to talk about funding and opposition, really, which of course anticipates a bit the future.
That is exactly what I wanted to go towards too. So what are our challenges and also priorities for the future? So maybe you can just give it a go.
Yeah, okay. Well, then I'll try to do that. I mean, if you dig into the past a bit, what you do find out, which is something we already know, but it really was confirmed in practice, let's say, we had vapors at some point. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs had actually started ShareNet. So I think at the end of 1999, beginning of 2000. And they also kind of killed it a little bit because they stopped funding it. And then they had a bit of egg on their face. And then there was the Ben Knappen time. And there were the new platforms were set up thanks to a push from Parliament to actually ensure sustainability of knowledge within the ministry. And so then, SRHR Knowledge Platform was able to be possible. And so but we had kept in that time, the interim, right? We were able to keep ShareNet alive on very, very little. But before the donors start to think, oh, well, then we can just defund because you guys will keep it alive. No. That's not the message. That's not the message. But it shows the importance, the absolute, the way that people responded. We had, vapors of money from UNFPA, basically, from the Brussels office. And we got together and we organized expert meetings. We asked people, do you have a room that we can use? Can you provide the snacks? And we kept it going. And we had the newsletter and the expert meetings. Those were the two things that people felt. These are the two big priorities. In the newsletter, we'd say, well, it's expensive. No, don't get rid of it. Everybody wants to keep it, And now when you see after the much bigger funding, you see all of these hubs. It's amazing, right? It's this big, it's like having become a big family. You see so much creation with the co-creation conferences. You see, for example, us, really trying to put our mouth, our money where our mouth is in terms of actually translating knowledge into practice through these small grants. But also we did that with the COPs and with the working groups. I remember the Learning, Research, Policy, and Practice working group, which I was also a participant. I've been in all of them at some point or another, I think, pretty much. But, so I think, the long and the short of it is that, yes, it's true that it's so important to have ShareNet that we're able to keep vapors, and keep going on little, but it's so important to also keep what we've built. And I think that's a really important message there. But the other bit is, of course, the opposition issue. And this is also one of the things that I worry about. And I think this has been a challenge for ShareNet from the get-go, is that we do speak to our own choir. We do speak to the choir. How do we make space for dissenting voices? How do we deal with that? And I think of Johannica de Hoof's comment not so long ago, saying, you know, in a sort of an expression of disappointment, you know, we've lost the hearts and minds of the people. And she's referring to the Dutch elections. And you know, what do we do about that, right? How do we deal with that? And how do we deal with increased conservatism, including in the Netherlands? So this is, you know, we've been hearing our colleagues in Uganda talking, you know, in Ethiopia talking, etc. But it's happening here as well. And yeah, I mean, I think we have a huge problem on our hands, basically. And so we really need to see how to be as smart and as strategic as possible with the resources we have. And we need to somehow find a way to, engage with people who are not necessarily completely convinced, and how to do that in a safe way and in a way that's constructive. That's I think one of the big challenges ahead of us.
Yeah, so telling our story maybe in a slightly different way, or exchange explain things in a slightly different way. Maybe this is something that we can really learn from some of the country contexts that have been dealing with opposition maybe a bit more obviously or strongly over the years. So for people who are not completely aware, and maybe this is also where Dr. Getju was referring to, the opposition that we are facing. It's like a global trend. It was always there. It seems to increase, but within our current government, we are not very much supported at all on the issues that we find important. So we are definitely concerned and worried what that means for the support of a network that has always been supported by Dutch government. And I think what Jennifer rightly says is we need now to be together and to keep things going as much as possible, but also I think learn from each other how you have dealt with opposition before. Then the celebration becomes a little less celebrative. I don't want to end it on that note. I think we still have a little bit of time, and maybe Musuma, you can cheer us up with your comment.
I wanted to add a few more to Jennifer. I don't know whether it will be sharing or not. Like, you know, like ShareNet is a 10 years journey, and it is really time to, you know, address the localized challenge and to adopt the localized, you know, knowledge to enhance that creation, you know, like contextual challenges and like climate change in Bangladesh. Maybe Uganda has another challenge. So the prime challenges of the country that is facing, so the prime challenges is affecting the younger generation as well, that who are like kind of target people of ShareNet. So keeping those localized, you know, challenges and localized knowledges in our planning, like in ShareNet's planning, is very important, and that would be the next challenge and next workout for ShareNet, I think.
And ShareNet has a key role there, Musuma, to actually create a link, right, between, you're talking about the localized the context and the knowledge to deal precisely. We talk about opposition. I don't think we need to end on a bad note, right? Because I think the role of ShareNet is precisely where we can rely on a solution, in a sense. I mean, solution, not too large, but we could have a big role anyway. I'm being part of the solution.
Then it will be really transformative, right?
Yeah, exactly. Sharing the knowledge, linking people with each other. That's, you know, that, and translating policy into practice. Those are the kinds of things we need to do. But then indeed with a concentrated effort on dealing with these opposing anti-rights, anti-gender forces.
Yes. Thank you.
we are not a small network. We have grown significantly, right? So there is members
Exactly.
all over the world. I think we have 3,500 registered members in over 80 countries. So yeah, I think there's lots of opportunities as well. If we can get inspired by these words. And Adriana, you also wanted to say something?
Yes, I wanted to say something because I think Colombia right now is in an interesting position, because for all of our time we have been ruled by a rights party government, and now we have a leftist party, which we can raise a lot of critiques to that and reflections, but which is interesting now is that we came from a situation of much stress to a situation where at least in the narrative, rights are protected and recognized. And I want to say that because I think what many of you have said here, to learn from each other is very important. To learn that many of us have been here before and have been there before. And I think that is part of what we have said so many times in ShareNet, of translating knowledge into practice, and that is not just for everyone else to learn and to respect and to recognize, for instance, sexual and reproductive rights, but also for all of us who are part of this community to learn from each other's experience. To learn from each other experiences of viewers, of stress, of living in places where rights are not only not recognized, but attacked. And learn from that and share that memories. I really like one phrase of an Afro-Caribbean feminist, Jackie Alexander, and she calls to be fluent in each other's history. And I think that applies for that, and that applies for this moment. How can we be fluent of each other's history in times that are challenging us, are challenge even the very existence of this network? And I think it is in that where we can find solutions to these situations of not knowing and of uncertainty.
That is beautiful.
It is. It
I
really
think.
is. Yeah.
Maybe we should close it on that note. I am looking at Bless Me. Am I correct that we need to close it? Yes.
Yeah.
So I think I'd like to thank all of you for, first of all, sharing all your positive experiences, being connected to ShareNet, but also being able to reflect on challenges and acknowledge that there are difficulties. And I do think we all realize what our priorities are. And let's just see the network as a huge opportunity and find each other. And indeed, learning from each other, especially the Netherlands, also from all of you, I think is really timely. Okay. Then
Yes.
I think I say thank you and hand it back to Bless Me, right?
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much, Doreen, and everyone, every of our panelists. That was a very interesting panel. And of course, one of the key things that I took out of that is we should be fluent in each other's history. I think that's a very beautiful quote. Probably we will use to frame this panel. It's important that we are fluent in each other's history. Thank you so much. And yeah, we can give them a round of applause. We can use the reaction button. We can do it with our hands if your videos are up and all of that. So thank you so much, everyone. Yeah, we are already beyond time to take questions, but this is now the moment that I'm going to tell you about the virtual networking session. If you still want to keep the conversation going, and then you still want to interact with any of the panel members, you can already start asking them in the chat room. There are going to be 5 breakout rooms. So if you can already start booking appointments that, oh, which rooms are you going, so that I can come and bring more of my questions to you in that room. And if there are other members or other participants that you want to connect with, you can already start planning to decide on a room. So there are going to be 5 breakout rooms. So you can already start deciding, oh, okay, let's meet in room number 3, or let's meet in room number 2. And of course, if our panelists are still around, which I hope they will still be around, but I understand that Jennifer has to leave because Jennifer has to be here from a training. She's currently in a training and she just have to be here because, of course, Shernet is very close to our heart. Yeah, but otherwise, the others will still be here, and you can meet up with them in the breakout rooms, the virtual networking sessions, and they can also still provide answers to your questions in the chat. So Jennifer, if you'll be kind enough to see if there are questions for you in the chat that you would like to provide answers to before you leave. Yeah.
Sure, I don't see anything there. But
Yes.
I also am very happy that if questions arise, if the person gives their contact information, I'm really happy to answer at another point. It's a network after all, right? So
Exactly. Yeah, they are also anyway always part of the network. Thank you so much. We are going to move to the next thing on the agenda. We hear from more of our members. After that, we are going to just have like a brief wrap up, and from there we go straight into the networking session.
thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It's really a pleasure and an honor.
Yes,
Bye, everyone.
thank you.
My name is Ed. My name is Edward Kwaja. I'm the general manager of Mount FM, the latest session which is based here in Malawi. We are one of the 2024 grantees, and in our project, we are working in a refugee camp, which we call it Dzaleka refugee camp here in Malawi. We are trying to make sure that women and girls with disability living in the refugee camp, they should be knowledgeable on how they can manage themselves when they are menstrual. That's through simplification of the existing policies which are here in Malawi, sexual reproductive health policies, into the languages that suit these refugees. We are trying to make sure that these refugees, they should be able to understand comprehensively when they are passing through the menstrual. Through turning it into broad language, also include issues of sign language interpretation. In 2022, we also received the grant from ShareNet International, where we managed to reach out to 300 women. By then, we are working here in Korawada district. Our key focus is to make sure that women and girls with disability, they should be able to understand the existing policies. In short, the knowledge gap which is existing amongst those living with disability, it has to be filled in. Apart from that, we are also trying to make sure that whatever we are doing, it should also be recognized by different partners. So we do appreciate ShareNet International for holding the annual membership meetings where different partners, we do share some information and knowledge. So we anticipate that we'll manage to reach out, also able to learn from our colleagues, and our colleagues will also even learn from us.
Hi everyone, my name is Hervé Rugamba and I'm from the Medical Student Association of Burundi. Today I'm excited to share our journey with ShareNet International. Joining this network changed everything for our small and youth-led organization. We accessed training programs that strengthened our capacity. ShareNet Burundi provided a sense of belonging in a space where best practices were shared with passionate individuals. With ShareNet grants, we partnered with the Rukundo Initiative, a Rwanda-based organization, to develop a knowledge product, Rukundo Life Skills board game in Kirundi, which is a boards and cards-based game which merge fun and social education. Having reached more than 400 young persons so far, we're confident these results will have a lasting impact on our community. Looking ahead, we see ShareNet as a platform for ongoing collaboration and advocacy for research or education for everyone.
My name is Giranezo Anege Christel. I'm a passionate advocate for sexual and reproductive health and rights and a medical doctor by profession. Additionally, I co-founded and serve as the Public Relations Officer of Urukundo Initiative. At Urukundo Initiative, we created Urukundo Life Skills board game. an educational tool revolutionizing comprehensive sexuality education by providing young people with a fun and interactive way to learn about critical life skills, including sexual health. Through ShareNet, we had the opportunity to collaborate with the organization ABM Burundi. This partnership has enabled us to expand our reach and impact. One key lesson we have learned is the power of collaboration and shared knowledge. Looking to the future, we hope to see ShareNet continue to grow and foster even more impactful partnerships.
Yeah, so thank you very much to everyone who has been actively engaged in the meeting from the beginning till this moment. Thank you for staying with us. Yeah, this is the wrapping up session. It's just basically to say thank you to everyone. We have come to almost the end of the event, not the end. The end is after the networking session. So if you would still like to join the networking session, we are going to go there afterwards. But before we move to the networking session, yeah, if you can just tell us how you are feeling and how has this AMM been for you so far. By the way, I also forgot to introduce myself in the beginning. So my name is Blessme Ajani. This is the face of the person that has been behind some of the emails that you have been receiving. And also, yeah, I'm the membership engagement person. So all your membership questions. And of course, if you also have questions about how you can interact more with ShareNet International, yeah, this is me. This is the person that you reach out to. Yes, wrapping up the AMM. Let's see, how has the AMM been for you so far? So we go back to our Menti. We'll take our, yes, phone, whatever it is that we want to use to participate in this, and just tell us how the AMM has been for you and what is your one key takeaway. So what is your biggest takeaway from the meeting? Waiting. Yes, we stand stronger together. Oh, I love that. Inspiration and great network. Oh, I'm glad that you're inspired. Let's keep it coming, people. You're also welcome. Well, I want you to put it here in the Menti, but you're also welcome to put it in the chat. Yeah, it's so great to connect and hear about all the work around the network. Great network, to be fluent in each other's histories. Yes, I took that away as well. We have to keep on working for SRHR knowledge and to continue to the growth of this very necessary platform. Yes, we have to stay together. Partage, if that is French, I hope I pronounced it well. Yes. Oh, yes, I can see also in the chat, transformative collaboration. There's so much beautiful things happening at ShareNet. You can still keep the, yeah, your comments coming. You remind me how important to remember localization. Great. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I say learning from each other, localization is important. Great. The panel was beautiful. Oh, cool. We stand stronger together. So it's very beautiful. Thank you, everyone, for the wrap up. You can still continue to put things in the chat. And now the breakout rooms are open for the virtual networking sessions. You can feel free to go to anyone that you like to go to and also meet members. look for, meet members, opportunities for potential collaborations and all of that. And if you want me to assign you to a group, you can also just let me know at the moment. Yeah, but the breakout rooms are open. Yeah, you can see the breakout room in your Zoom panel. Yeah. Yes. Great. So the next one, how are you feeling at the end of the AMM? Inspired. Nice. Yes. Emotional. Oh, hopeful, invigorating. Nice. Inspired. Highly motivated. Satisfied. Motivated. Excited. So really, this is good. Yes. So let's remain in the celebratory mood of what we have been able to do in the past 10 years, and hopefully looking into the future, we'll be able to do more. And of course, together we can do more, much more.
Can I do a big shout out before I move to thank you, Bless Me, for pulling this off with an amazing team, and also for all the nice presentations and layout. I see Shannon there in the corner, so just a special mention. And then I am not joining a breakout. I am moving out slowly, but thank you all for attending and facilitating.
Okay. Thank you, Doreen. Yes, if you want to connect, feel free. Maria is in breakout room. I'm also going to be in one of the breakout rooms. So if you have membership questions, yes, you can meet me in breakout room. You can meet me in breakout room 1. No, you can meet me in breakout room 5 or breakout room 4. Yes, Maria is in breakout room 1. Ami is in breakout room 3. Yeah, Felice is probably in breakout room 4. If you want to meet with Felice, who is also a member, who is also one of our colleagues here in the secretariat, and I will be in breakout room 5. See you. But anyway, thank you so much for participating.